What if Clemson beats Florida State? What happens? What does it do to Clemson? Not just the team, but the fan base. What does it do for the perception of the football team? I'm going to get to that in just a second. Hey, I'm Brian. Thanks for joining me on the Not Bobby Durkin Show, because I'm Brian here. I'm not Bobby Durkins. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you're a return viewer, hey, I appreciate you being here. Either way, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's the easiest way to support the channel for free. Also, if you want to support on a monthly basis, $3 or $5, you won't even notice that. There is a join button below the video unless you're on an iPhone. So just give you that. Or a super thanks here on the live stream. So, I am going to go ahead and tell you that I still believe, even though Clemson is only a 1.5 point underdog at the Valley, which basically means in betting odds, it's a toss-up. It is a toss-up. That Clemson will still lose this ball game. You're not a real fan, man. Why? Because I'm realistic? Are you telling me because I have watched them play football this year? Are you telling me because the vast majority of the offensive coaches that are at Clemson right now has been at Clemson for the past few years while this whole debacle has happened? You're telling a guy who's been pulling for Clemson for as long as he can remember and has watched way more bad football than good football, that I'm not a real fan because I don't want to live in some twilight zone where no matter what happens, Clemson always wins? I'm pulling for my team. But I'm not living in that twilight zone. Now, with that said, I have people coming to me left and right, people who are pessimistic like myself. There's people in this comment section right now, SEC Dog. SEC Dog talks fantastic trash. He's a big Georgia fan. He thinks Clemson will win. He means it too. I can go ahead and tell you that. Sassy the Sasquatch believes Clemson wins by 13. Does tongue in cheek right here. This is funny. We miss another extra point. Yeah. What happens for Clemson? Now I'm going to tell you what I think happens for them as a team when it comes to the national media. Remember, the national media, they are having to play the game of keeping subscribers and keeping viewers. They're going to have to get the viewers and the subscribers to continue to come back and come back and come back. That's the reason in the preseason they rate teams who have no business being even near the top 10. In the top 10. But I'll tell you straight up, I think the national media will start to hype Clemson up, not to a level of playoff status. I believe that they are going to actually begin to play around with Clemson might be back. Well, you know, they have NC State and Notre Dame coming to town, and Miami seems to be doing better. Oh, this is the perfect storm. I think for Clemson fans, there's different groups of Clemson fans. There's Clemson fans out there who they wear Clemson gear. But if I've made this joke, but you'll see, like, not to pick on women here, but I've seen women in my family wear Clemson shirts on game day. And they're, That's the reason I get this idea. Or you'll go into Hobby Lobby on game day. For some reason, you've got to go into Hobby Lobby. You have to go into Walmart. You see some woman, she's wearing she's standing in line to pay. She's wearing a Clemson shirt. She sees your Clemson hat. She goes, "Go Tigers." You're like, yeah, I hope they do well today. She's like, they playing, ain't they? You're like, yeah. I hope they play better today. Well, I heard that Deshaun Lawrence is doing good. What? They don't even know who plays for the team. My Lord, they just mishmashed two of our best quarterbacks to ever walk through the school, and they're different in more than like 3 or 4 ways. There's that Clemson fan. There's the Clemson fan who despises me and comes on here and says, you're not pulling for Clemson. Why? Because I tell the truth. You can say, oh, you know what? Florida State really did well in the transfer portal. Yeah, they did really bad against BC. Or they were looking forward to this game. Who would blame them? But I think they're going to beat Clemson. I hope not. Oh, don't say that, man. You're not a true fan. What? Then there's fans like me who love their team, who hopes they win this week. But it's not looking good. For those first 2 or 3 groups that I think I did 3 groups there. First 2 groups, the woman standing in line who thinks that Deshaun Lawrence is our quarterback. And Will Etienne is playing running back for us. And Billy D. Higgins is our wide receiver. They're going to be thrilled. That second group who looks at me and says, don't say that about the Tigers. They're going to be coming on here out of the woodwork telling me, say y'all pull 40 team, man. All in. With those 2 groups of people, I would rather deal with the ladies standing in line at Walmart or wherever with their Clemson shirt on talking about Deshaun Watson and that other quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Well, not Trevor Lawrence. That would be Trevor Watson. Say I've got a mishmash them. Even I can't do it. I'd rather deal with her because she just likes Clemson. She likes the color of the T-shirt. She knows her husband's happy when they win. The other group, they claim to know something about football. Those 2 groups are going to be thrilled. See, y'all to believed in your team. Let me tell you what's going to happen for the third group. Like me, Clemson is at a point that I look at all the 4 and 5 star players that they have. And they have a bunch of them. And I look at the guys who are going out there and balling no matter what's going on with the team. And I want to make this very clear to you. Those guys will continue to do well. Whether the coaches are developing them well, whether the coaches are scheming well, whether the coaches are putting together a game plan and making adjustments, those guys are still going to play. But folks, I'm going to tell you straight up, and I mean this. Clemson is beginning to remind me of the Tommy Bowden years. If they go in and win this game, and then the next week they blow it, you might want to ask God for help. It's going to be bad. But for me, I will celebrate. I will be thankful that they beat the Florida State team. But for Clemson, I'm going to look at them and say, great job, guys. Now don't lay down and die. Great. Hey, listen, don't start celebrating and equating yourself to the 2016 and 2018 teams because you're not. You're not them. Okay. Now, leading up to this game, what do I see that gives me some hope? I have seen them try to throw the ball downfield more. A little too late, considering, Duke and stuff. I'm glad to see Tyler Brown taking off. I hate it for Cole Turner that he's hurt and he's out for the rest of the season. But if my memory serves me correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong, please do. Tyler Brown is basically sliding into the rotation more because of Cole Turner being injured, and the guy hauled in 2 touchdowns this past week. I know it's against a bad football team, but up to this point, Clemson has not been playing well, even with Charleston Southern. So to see Clemson actually throw the ball downfield was nice. To see Tyler Brown, the true freshman out of Greenville, South Carolina, not a highly recruited guy compared to, say, like an Adam Randall. Tyler Brown had people who wanted him to come play for them. But we're not talking about a 5-star Adam Randall. Tyler Brown looks really solid. He's fast, he's shifty. So it's good to see him step up during this time of the season. And what's supposed to happen at this time of the season is happening. You're starting to see some players get the rust off. You're starting to see some connections be formed between quarterback and receiver. I'm going to get to these comments in just a moment. I got Lawnmower Man in here. Clemson by 2 scores. You heard it here from the Lawnmower Man first. Yeah, Lawnmower Man, thank you for dropping that in there. I do appreciate that, Lawnmower Man. Look at that. He says they're going to come out on fire. Extra motivation for them. Yeah, they found out how quick the Clemson fans are tired of this crowd. Null Squad says it's going around the school. I said I would get to it later, but I'm getting to it now. I'm a student at FSU. It's going around. Sickness. Lester said Alabama is reminding them of Tommy Bowden. Got my old buddy in here, Parker Henderson, who, by the way, has joined the Not Bobby Durkins channel. Thank you, Parker. I'm glad we're throwing the ball downfield for touchdowns. That's good. Let's see. We got Coastal 79 in here. Haven't seen you in a while. Folks, I'm gonna stop here and tell you. If you've been watching the channel, my analytics tells me that a lot of people are consistently watching the channel, but you're not subscribing. So the easiest way to support the channel for free is to subscribe. So I do appreciate that. The channel has grown a lot. Unfortunately, the loss to Duke increased my subscription rate by probably about 500 subscribers plus. So it's bad that Clemson lost. It was good for the channel. And then a lot of people have just been coming back saying, hey, look, I watched you. I had one comment really meant a lot to me. A guy said, hey, look, I came on here to see you lose it. I've never watched you before. I saw it. I thought you were just going to lose it. He said, thank you for not going on some weird tirade just to get views. He said, thanks for offering your frustration, but being realistic about it. So that means a lot to me, and I do appreciate that. Yes, I use Bobby Durkins for my stupidity. But if you want to support the channel on a monthly basis, there's a $3 and a $5 tier. You won't even notice that. It's easy to sign up. If you're online, you can hit the join button. If you have an iPhone, you probably won't see that join button, but it's really easy. Parker Henderson, Still Gamble, Grafnar, a lot of people are, John Setton, a lot of people are supporting the channel. Remember, all those big shows that you listen to on the radio or on TV, they have massive sponsors. That's the reason they can do what they do. hey, if you want to support little old me who doesn't have any strings attached to him because of, sponsors and so on, trying to tell him what to say, I'm your man. I'm your man. Please subscribe to this show and support it in any way you can. You can also give a special super thanks on here one time. Assassin, great channel. Tyler Brown is the real deal. Yes, Assassin. Tyler Brown is looking really good. He's looking really good. Lester, thank you so much. So, folks, I'm going to tell you a few more things. I'm going to share some news with you, which is fantastic. Graffinar just got in here. It's good to see you, pal. If Clemson wins this game, I want to see how they respond after the game. That will tell me whether things are fixed or not. Different people react to adversity and prosperity in different ways. I want you to think about that. There are people that, as long as they're winning, they're fine. They're inspirational. They're happy. They say all the right things, but as soon as things stop going their way, guess what happens? It all falls apart. There's other teams who can go and win a game, a much-needed game like this, and if they're not focused on the goal and realize that the remaining part of the season is still a big chunk of the season. You still have to play Notre Dame. You still have to play NC State. Miami's looking pretty good. You got South Carolina. I'm going to tell you, Spencer Rattler's been playing good football. He made a poor decision going to South Carolina, other than playing for Coach Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer's a good coach. But Spencer Rattler could have done better. But they're going to play Clemson hard this year. And if Clemson's still doing this whole roller coaster thing, South Carolina might get 2 years in a row on us. I know we don't want to think about that, and I hope it doesn't happen, but that's just reality. But if Clemson comes out and wins this game, but after it, you see them keep the same intensity, play good solid ball across the board. Even if they were to lose another game this year, they lose it with dignity. It's not turning over the ball twice inside the 5-yard line. It's not having kicks blocked. It's not shanking an extra point attempt. There may be hope, folks. There may be hope. There's a possibility. I'm going to get in here some more comments. Before I get into the comments, Midlands directory, I'm going to get to you in just a second. But I have a new sponsor for the show. I do. I have a new sponsor for the show. 4Putt Carts. They're like 4Putt Carts. They are a beverage cart service for golf courses who either doesn't have a cart service, or it's for golf courses who has a cart service, but they have a tournament coming in, they're going to get overwhelmed. Maybe you have a special event and you want to bring them in. I know tomorrow, 4Putt Carts, they're actually working a celebrity golf tournament tomorrow. Already. They're already working, listen to me, folks. They're already working with the city of Atlanta for their golf courses and the city of Macon. Now, you're like, that sounds like it's just only in the Georgia area. No, if you're here in the state of South Carolina, if you're in this general quad state area, I say quad state, I don't know why I say that, but I just don't want to limit it to the Georgia area. You should reach out to them. Their website, I forgot to put the link in here, but if you want to reach out to me, I can put you in contact with them. Let me tell you this, they're a really good group of people, and they are just a friend of the channel. They were just like, hey, we like what you do. We like how you roll. You tell it how it is. That's a channel we can get behind. And I said, you know what? That's a sponsor that I can work with. So 4Putt Carts. reach out to me and I can send you the contact information. I appreciate you sponsoring the show. I'm going to get some comments and I'm leaving. I want to talk about, I'm going to do a video. I don't know whether it be today or tomorrow. I want to talk about what happens if Florida State beats Clemson. Not only beats them, what happens if they were to kick Clemson's butt? No Man 69 said, I'd for sure give Clemson the edge just because they're at home. One More Man says, I haven't seen a Clemson team this focused in a few years. I see a team that's growing up and getting better every game. I hope so. Big Red says, continued success is how you measure the greatness of teams. This could be a stepping stone for the Tigers. It could be. SEC dog, yeah, after they got their butt handed to them by Duke, which if you look at the stats, what it was, Clemson was moving the ball over and over and over and over and over. And when it came time to do the important part where they score it, they just didn't do that. They just turned the ball over. Folks, we should not stop talking about that. Or we don't have to keep beating or kicking the dead horse, beating the drum on that. But until Clemson beats Florida State and start showing some consistency, we have to continue to think about that. That's what happened. Clemson moved the ball very well against Duke. 200 on the ground, 200 in the air, 2 fumbles inside the 5-yard line. I know that one, Phil Maffa, the helmet hit the ball, shot out. I get that, but I'm just saying, just the bad luck of overall, that night was just weird. It's a noon game because Duke handed it to them. And also, you got to remember, Ohio State and Notre Dame's playing that day. There'll be a lot of attention on that game. Midland's Directory headed to watch Grayson and Coastal Thursday night. Any thoughts on the state's second best team? Grayson McCall is looking good. I know that. Yeah, I really wish that UCLA game was about 4 or 5 games in once they got their footing. But Grayson McCall is a fantastic quarterback. I'm pulling for them. I like to watch Coastal. I pull for them. I'm going to try to make it down to see them. I'm going to see them play this year. Already I got some tickets. I just don't like to say out loud which game it is because there's some creepers on the internet. So y'all please forgive me. I'm just not going to say which one, but I think that they have to take Georgia State seriously, but Georgia State's not been that good this year. Bronco, hey, you asked where I got this. A friend of mine, he owns a store. He owns a wood shop company. He makes his own signs. This is actually like a vinyl print that he puts over the wood sign, but this is a prototype, and he made one big one for me. The rest of them are like this big, so they're smaller. He was like, "Look, it's really difficult to make these." He said, "I'll make you one." He just gave it to me one day. He's like, "Hey, you want to meet? I have something for you." He gave it to me, and I have given away some of the smaller cuts to other people. But the Sawmill Shop, you want to check them out. But my friend gave that to me. It's really cool. I told him he's doing a great job. Lester, dude, I remember first watching your channel 2 years ago as Bobby and my family legit thought you were not faking it. I thought, my Lord, these fans, yeah. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but Bobby Durkins has been doing shorts on his YouTube channel called You Mean to Tell Me. And he actually talks about actual facts, like, for instance, Kuchi Sashibi is the Japanese term for eating because you're bored. And Bobby Durkins said, and by the way, I got flagged by YouTube for this, I have an aunt who Kuchi Sashibis, and if she continues to Kuchi Sashibi, she will be bedfast with diabetic booties on. So you need to go check that out. He is. Audrey Smith. I hope Riley has a lot in his playbook. I believe we have the talent. I hope so, Audrey. I hope so. Ron Alexander says, Q's. What's up, Ron? What you accusing me of? Just wanted to say that. 79 says, hey, listen, I'm afraid this game is coming down to a kick. Robert Gunn has to get it together. Yeah. Half Touchdown Gaming, Sports Talk, and more says, Clemson would be ranked high. You know what? I don't see them being ranked high right off the bat, but I do see them going back into the top 25, maybe in top 20, maybe top 20. Now, if Clemson barely wins the ball game, Florida State's not going to fall too far. Okay, they're still kind of the diaper dandies. It still would set up at this point a potential ACC championship between these two schools later on. That's very marketable for the big media outlets. Okay, so you have that. But if Clemson was to win by 10 points or 14 points, they would go inside the top 20. But that would be interesting. I want to go on down here. Grafnart's good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. If Clemson beats FSU, Miami is guaranteed representing the ACC this year. That's Ray Dripper. No Man 69 said, what's your score prediction? I will do a preview later this week. I will give that score prediction. FSU fan, been watching you since Duke live stream. Love your takes on the entirety of Clemson college football. You earned my subscription. Cody Clark, I appreciate that. Turner Kirby cracked me up that Clemson had a complete opposite game than what they were used to Saturday. Less than 400 yards and 44. Touchdown Gaming says, hey, listen, I say rank 12 if they beat Florida State. Oh, maybe so. Who knows? Jimmy says, hey, what's going on here? Cade Klubnik's going to be a great quarterback for us. Just saying. Jimmy, I can't remember whether it's you or someone else who thought I was taking shots at Cade. I have not taken shots at Cade. In fact, I've taken up for it. Cade Klubnik is the most ill-prepared by the coaching staff of any quarterback since Taj Boyd. They would work in all those quarterback, Taj Boyd, Deshaun Watson, Kelly Bryant even sitting behind Deshaun, Trevor Lawrence, DJ behind Trevor. They gave those guys packages. They gave them time to go out there and play. You could say, well, the offense wasn't doing so well with DJ. That's the reason why they had to send in Cade to play quarterback, take his place against Syracuse last year, only to bench him. I think, and maybe it wasn't you, Jimmy. Maybe it was someone else, but I've taken up for Cade Klubnik. I think people need to leave him alone and give him some grace. It's the coaches who put him in this position. Motivated, dedicated says Clemson wins by 10. I hope so. I just hope they win. JR the Gent said, hit the thumbs up. You scallywags. I love scallywags. It is hilarious. Tim Russell wants to. Who is on board with the redemption weekend for this week's Clemson game? Or is there a leaning toward the dark side and possibly 3 losses in September? Let me tell you this. A lot of people are agreeing that Clemson's going to win this ball game unless you're a Florida State fan. I've even had some Florida State fans come on and say, hey, I think we're going to lose this game. I'm just going to tell you, folks, at this point, I'm still seeing, unless, I don't know, how the Florida State team gets caught doing something bad, I still see Florida State winning this game. I'm not saying that Clemson can't win this game, folks. They have the talent and the depth to beat Florida State. It's the problem that they have not been properly prepared. And that's for not just this year, the past 2 to 3 years. Got no squad saying Clemson or Florida State by 3. Tiger Paul Craven, we're doing a show together tomorrow night, 8:15. You and Jordan Bowman is going to be on here. This is my last comment of the day, my friends. Well, I'm going to make here. Grafnar said wide right. Who knows? And my buddy Kaysen here, Touchdown Gaming Sports Talking More. Number 23. You think Clemson will be ranked number 23? Possibly. That's more like it if they win this game. Yeah, absolutely. Folks, I'm going to close this sucker down before I do. Just wanted to remind you, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It's free. It's like free. Imagine free, then freer. Do that. Also, if you want to support on a monthly basis, you can go either $3 or $5 per month. You won't even notice that. Good grief. That's no big deal for y'all. You've got that. You've got that. No problem. No problem. Also, if you want to support in the chat, you can do that on a super thanks. Also, I want to thank my sponsor, 4Putts Cart Service, for sponsoring the show. I will be putting that link in the video, in the coming video, so you can check them out. Their cart service for golf courses who either doesn't have cart service, or maybe they have cart service, but they got a big tournament coming up, big event coming up. They want extra carts. You need to check them out. I do appreciate them sponsoring the show, folks. Clemson. Will they just pull it together? We have the talent. I want to go ahead and tell you this, folks. There's a lot of people swirling about Clemson doesn't have the talent. Clemson does have the talent. Go look up how many 4 and 5 stars they have on the team. They have the talent. My question is, across the board, do they have the coaching? That remains to be answered, folks. I'll catch you later. Take care. I'm going to do a video later. I might even do it today, according to what goes on. What if Florida State dominates Clemson and beats them? What does that mean for Clemson? Where does that send the team? What does it change potentially with Sweeney? I'm talking about him personally. What does he do? Does he drop this everything is okay and y'all are just a bunch of, yeah, we worry about it too, but y'all are treating us like we don't care. But it's like, okay, what happens? That'll be the next video. Folks, as always, goes Tigers. I'll catch you next time.